my calculations are correct, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
They're here.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's showtime.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the VHS Strikes Back. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to the VHS Strikes Back, the show where we dust off the old video player and go on a nostalgic journey to look at the good and the bad movies of yesteryear. Now, Chris, what are we going to review this week?
Well, Dave, we are going back to a movie for the year I was born, Dave. This is one of our great friends and Patreon, Susan, and it's one I've never seen, I'll be honest, Dave, but this is called The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, and it is a martial arts classic. So, Dave, have you seen this one before?
You know, when I was a kid, right, my uncles would be watching all these kung fu movies. They were just there. And when you're a kid, you don't sit down and watch a whole movie. So I don't remember ever seeing this, but I also can't really rule it out. What I absolutely do remember are particular scenes from it. So definitely the opening montage scene, you know, where he's got the rings and everything, and he's doing like his forms, and he's punching the water, which I think looks a bit weird, but I definitely remember that, and I'm pretty sure it was on that Alexis sale Kung Fu night, not the whole movie, but just like clips of it and stuff. So yeah, but I've never, as a more conscious thinking person and younger kid and adult, I've never actually sat through the whole movie. So I was really interested. I really liked the idea of going back to this era, and I thought, well, it's going to be an upgrade from Pandemonium, isn't it?
Yeah,
I was pretty confident about that, but I wasn't really that sure what we were going to get into. And I'll keep my powder dry a little bit before we get into the main review about what I thought about it. But I mean, what about yourself, Chris?
Yeah, so I've never seen it, but I think you've hit on something there, Dave. I have seen sections of this movie somehow. I don't know whether it's, again, I remember that I didn't watch it entirely, but I do remember parts of that Alexis Sale martial arts evening thing, you know, on Channel 4. I do remember him being, because he was always quite witty, even though he's a Scouser. He was quite witty, Dave. Sorry about that. But yeah, but genuinely, I have seen bits of this movie, and I don't know whether it's been used in other movies or when people are watching, you know, you get like movies, someone's watching a TV show or something like that. But there's definitely scenes in this that feel very familiar. So I was interested. Usually stuff like this isn't my bag at all. You know what I mean? So I know you've loved, you know, these sort of kung fu movies, you know, made in this era and that. So I thought Dave's going to love this and I'm going to hate it. However, yeah, I didn't know. I just didn't. I kept thinking, is this a stitch up? Is it a stitch up? But when you read stuff on it, and I've read quite a few things on it before I actually watched it, it is regarded as an absolute classic. So much so that Tarantino got him into his second Kill Bill, didn't he, Gordon Lieh?
Yeah.
He loved his acting, and it was a renaissance in his acting career because he starred in it. So, yeah, I was interested because I'm thinking, am I going to hate this? Is this going to be a Chris special? And I was thinking, Paul Susan's going to be like, Chris, you wanker, you know, like. but no, this is a movie where it felt very familiar, and definitely have seen some of these, like with the Chambers bits, and I can't put my finger on. I'll probably watch a film down the line somewhere and go, that's where I remember it from. It's definitely been referenced in something I've watched.
Well, I'll say one bit, right? There is a bit in this where, what does he say now? He says something like, "You want to fight? Fight me!"
Fight me!
And I was thinking, I know that. You know where I know that from?
Go on.
Police Academy.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I thought it was a Bruce Lee film. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he does. With Jones, innit? Yeah. When he's doing the dubbing, when he puts the bandana on, doesn't he, and everything. Yeah, God, that's a great one, Dave. Yes. Very good spot.
So I think there's probably lots of homages that we've seen to this as well that, you know, make it familiar. And I should say, you know, I'm pretty sure you did as well. I watched the dubbed version because there is something about watching a 70s kung fu movie, a Hong Kong kung fu movie, dubbed, and you've got like the British accents and clearly voices which don't go with the characters.
No.
And the voice act, it's almost like animated voice actors, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's something overacting about them, when it's not done very well. And so I just thought it was fantastic. So yeah, I didn't watch the Mandarin language and subtitles. It was definitely dubbed, and I tell you what, it did make it. I don't want to say tickle the nostalgia berries. I need a different phrase for that.
We've only just got over
Made
that
me
one.
feel all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing. But yeah, so I think that there's definitely a familiarity about this without actually seeing the movie.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say about the dubbing, because I think when I was a kid, naively, I thought watching like Bruce, like the Big Boss, things like that,
Mm.
and you'd watch him, and I'd be like, yeah, that's Bruce Lee. It's Bruce Lee. And now, obviously, Bruce Lee does speak in some movies, doesn't he? Enter the Dragon and stuff like that. And you can tell that he has dubbed over his voice in their movies now. However, I never realised that the voices, the sinking of the mouth didn't go with the actor. So when you watch, remember Monkey Day, we used to love that as a kid. And that had terrible dubbing, but you used to watch it. And I never questioned it. I used to think nothing of it. And I think my fucking old man at some point ruined it for me. Went, you do know that that's like someone in a studio or something? And I'm like, no. And then I'd be transfixed on the mouths going, oh, the bastards, it's not real. So I didn't do that with this. I thought I'd end up like, I was always transfixed as a kid, watching the mouths try and sync up, even though now they can do it with this bloody... Have you seen this AI stuff, Dave, that's knocking around? Where I'm sure you have.
You mean like that everyone in the world is discussing?
Discussing, yeah. No, but I've saw something on TikTok. Yeah, I know everyone's talking about the chat thing and all that, but what I mean is... Yeah, I've been watching like random shit coming up on TikTok where Freddie Mercury singing a song and then someone put the Beatles singing Some Might Say by Oasis, and it's like, this is fucking scary, that is scary. There's going to be a lot of false stuff going on as we get older. We're definitely in the Cyberdyne fucking thingy, Dave.
Well, this is getting all a bit Matrix, isn't it? But
yeah.
I do think we're on some kind of tipping point, because this sort of stuff has been around for a while, and we were laughing the other week, weren't we, about the Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
I think Blake had put me and you on, Matthew McConaughey and Leonardo DiCaprio, and so there's been that stuff, but it's genuinely like it's going another level from that. It's coming up with completely new content, and it just, I think it's not a bad thing in that if everyone starts thinking, I should really question, what I'm seeing or what I'm reading. Is that real or not? I don't think that's a terrible thing, because there's that much fake news out there. But yeah, it is it is a little bit scary. And the thing is, people like Elon Musk, right, and Microsoft are the latest ones. Are like, oh, we should really think about regulation for AI, and it's like, hang about, right? Microsoft, you're the first across the post, so you've got this competitive advantage. Of course, it makes sense for you to implement regulation because it stops everyone else innovating. And you keep your competitive advantage. Fucking Elon Musk, he's only interested in his own game as well. So I just think that there's going to be such a lot of nonsense for the next few years and debate about what, and how to use it and stuff. Because, like I say, AI and machine learning has been around for years now, but it's ChatGPT that has suddenly propelled it into the public consciousness. And like you say, with the imaging and stuff as well, is all really clever. So, yeah, nothing to do with the Chamber of Shaolin, but maybe, maybe, Chris, I'll be honest, right? When you see that opening montage, when I was a kid, you're looking at him, you're just thinking, well, he's just a skinny little bloke, isn't he? All right, he can do all these moves and stuff. But you were more impressed by, let's say, like, the Van Damme, where he's got the big, bulky muscles. Whereas now I'm looking at him thinking, I would long for that kind of skinny body again. Maybe I could get the AI to help me out there.
I don't know how I've ended up with it. What I was getting at, Dave, was because I was fixated with that the dubbing and that. There will just be computer-generated martial arts movies, won't there, and things like that. Not just martial arts, but any of these movies where the region accents are there. And then, because I said to you, I struggle when I'm watching subtitles to get engrossed in a movie. It really pisses me off, like, having to concentrate on what they're saying, what's going on the screen. And I think I really will shy away from a subtitles movie. There's not very many of them that I enjoy watching because I don't know if it's just me. It just takes me out of it. Whereas with this was just completely... And what would happen then is with this sort of technology, the mouths would all be in sync and everything, wouldn't they? So so it wouldn't be an issue. That's what I was getting at anyway. So I've gone off a right. We've gone on off a right Elon Musk tangent there, Dave. But that's my fault. So sorry, Susan.
No worries. Well, Chris, should we get into our trailer?
Let's go.
The anti-Ching patriots, under the guidance of Ho Kuang-han, have secretly set up their base in Canton, disguised as schoolmasters. During a brutal Manchu attack, Lieh manages to escape and devotes himself to learning the martial arts in order to seek revenge. Now, Chris, what do you reckon to the opening of this movie?
Well, I've got to say, Dave, it's false advertising because it says 36 chambers and we only visit 9.5, really. So there is something wrong there. We don't finish all of them. But no, I tell you what, I was thinking, oh, fucking, I'm going to hate this. I'm really going to hate this. But it's fucking good. It's a good movie. And I tell you what's good about it. For 1978, and I don't know production-wise what it cost and that, but this seems like there's a lot of money put into this because the production's really high. And also the martial arts, some of the moves and that are fucking brilliant in it. This, even with, like you say, the dubbing and everything, the story doesn't really matter to me. But it's like almost like a bit of a Rocky type movie because you've got the training montage. The martial arts at the start is excellent. That whole set piece and that is really good. And I just think Gordon Lieh is really, really good, Dave. He's in share. I know at the start he's not, but as it comes on, and he gets everything. Yeah, honestly, I was surprised. I thought I'm going to hate this, and I didn't. I really didn't. It runs just under 2 hours, and it starts really strong. And I was like, this isn't 1978. It felt like it was a lot later for me.
Yeah.
The way it was set and the production of it.
Like you say, it's obviously been digitally remastered at some point.
Yeah.
And the colours just pop out the screen, don't they? It looks so good. And I think you mentioned about the story there. So, I mean, understanding the dynamics of ancient China.
Yes,
no. I am interested in history, but that's a weak point, I have to say. So I have no fucking idea who these people are and, who's in power. But I don't think you really do. You just have to know. It's almost like the Empire, isn't it? Just think they're the evil Empire and these are the rebels. There we go. Done. So I think that's the thing I took from it. And, I feel like I've been fairly dismissive in the past when I say about, and this comes from when I used to do Kung Fu. I mean, it's like fucking 25 years or something ago now. But some of the black belts there wouldn't fight in competitions. Right? They'd only do the forms. And it gave me less respect for them because it's like, well, surely the combat is part of it. But when you see that opening and you see that sequence of moves, and for me, I think as I've got older, I appreciate that side of it more because it can you imagine, Chris, if me and you were just like trying to recreate that? It'd look ridiculous, wouldn't it? It just look like blokes from down the pub, like flailing about.
Hey. Don't undersell yourself, Mr. Horrocks, because you are going through all this. You've sent me some videos recently. You're doing very well in your martial arts journey. So don't undersell yourself at all, honestly.
I'm kind of enjoying that, and so I've got a little bit further now with this style than I had with the Kung Fu stuff.
Yeah, you're doing very well.
Couple of years in, and so I'll wait to see where that sort of takes me, Well, where I don't want to be when I'm 50.
I don't want to kick off you, Dave. Anyway, them kicks you were doing as part of your form and everything was brilliant. So Dave is a secret martial artist. Everyone before
very
selling himself.
Amateur artist. But,
well, don't worry about me.
It was AI that, by the way. But,
I thought you looked younger. You're like a 28 waist as well. There.
Did you not see the bolo chest?
I wonder why you had a fucking third leg when you were fucking the gi on.
The tripod.
That pivoted the kick, I believe.
But anyway, getting back to the movie, I think that once you get through those forms, and like I say, really impressive. The water thing didn't really work for me when he's punching into the water. I thought that looked a bit shit. It looked like when you're a kid and you just do stupid shit, you just like experimented. It just looked a bit like that to me. But everything else looked great, and the way he moves and everything. And when it gets into the actual story, you can see this attempted assassination. I think again, no real idea, but about what's going on. But you've got this kind of street. It's almost like a coronation, Chris.
Yeah.
Coming through there, and you can see that this general is, a bit of a bad guy. And like you say, I really like the martial arts. Now, it's not like watching something realistic, is it? There's a certain
No.
style, and it's all well choreographed. And so it's different, but I just love it. I love the kind of choreography to it. The fact that they always seem to keep these fight sequences quite fresh. They always seem a little bit different. But ultimately, the attempted assassin guy just gets killed, and so this general. Okay, so he's the baddie then.
Yeah, and what I find fascinating, I don't know about you, when I watch these movies now, the fucking choreography that goes into these sequences in like one take, pretty much. When they're doing the wide shot stuff, like I've said, we've laughed about it. I've told the story on this loads of that bloody dodgy Chuck Norris movie where he's a baddie in it, and they have that fight on the beach from nowhere. I still cannot find that scene, and it's pathetic. And one guy just falls over because it's like he forgets what he's supposed to do, but knows that he's got to be dead on the floor and been beat up by the main hero. When you're watching this, the way the kicks, the arms, the move, the body, it's really impressive because there's a couple of wide shots on it, and I'm like, how the fuck, as a director or a choreographer, how have they got together and placed everybody, no matter what the budget is on this movie? I have a lot of respect for these movies now when you watch them, because you're like, that takes a lot of planning. Yes, there might be people riffing off each other because, like, that I've said to you, when you're doing like a background acting, and all I did was like pick a cup of coffee or pour a file or handed it to somebody, Dave, or stood there having a drink or whatever. But what they usually say to you is the director or it won't be the director, usually like one of the runners comes over and says, right, and I was a cop in one of them, and they went, what you have to do is get this file, put it on a desk, point to it like you're talking to him and saying, like you've seen this. I'm doing it now, Dave, like I'm fucking getting paid for this, but I'm doing it. And they say, you need to create that scene in the background to make it look real. So they give you that flexibility. So they'll say like I did one with this woman where she's supposed to be my wife, and you're walking up and down and you've got to like chat and pretend to laugh and, and do different things. And we say, you're in the back and you've faded out, but it just adds to the warmth of that. You're in a real world. It's a living, breathing thing. It all helps and all this. And it's interesting that they let you do that. But on a martial arts movie, they can't just say to me, like you say, me and you, my kicks now, Dave, I'd be looking to hit your fucking hip. I wouldn't even be able to get them for me, where I used to be able to get them. And I wasn't very good at them anyway. I could never twist my hips properly. But imagine that saying to me and you, right, lads, just do a few moves. You hit him and blah, blah, blah. You won't be able to do it. So I find it so fascinating watching it going, how the hell have they got all these people? None of it's CGI. It's genuine people who are martial artists or extras or whatever, and they've got a level of competency in martial arts. I just find it really, really clever.
Yeah, no, it's good, and I think part of it is, having those stunt choreographers work with everyone, but also I think they just spend a shitload of time filming to get the exact right shot that they want.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you watch interviews with like Scott Adkins, he talks about the amount of effort they put into the actual fighting bit, and then they don't really pay attention to the story in the middle as much.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that's a fair appraisal of this movie, because I think that there's quite a lot of story to it, even though I probably picked up on 10% of it. But I think they do spend most of their time just on that fight choreography. They'll spend weeks shooting a particular scene. You can imagine the physical feat it is for the actors and even the background actors as well to keep that going. But that's where all the focus is. And so, yeah, I have to say, looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, it does. This has surprised me because, like you say, the story, there is a story there. It's a revenge. It is a martial arts sort of troop. Someone gets beat up, whether it's the main character, they've got to learn. We've just done Kickboxer recently, haven't we, Dave? With Spider Dan and Bloodsport, we did like a crossover. We appeared on Dan's show and talked about him, and that they're all the same format, innit? Either one of the family gets done over, or they actually get beat up and they've been bullied and they need to, exact revenge. Or there's always that arc in these martial arts movies, because most of the main characters are not martial artists when they come into it, or they've got a basic level. Or Dave, they're a ballet dancer from Belgium who's been split up from the twin brother, and that's why they've got a French accent or Belgium accent or whatever it is.
Or French Canada.
Yeah. He's a Mountie. He was in the French Foreign Legion. All them things there to explain that one-line Van Damme special. But it's the same trope in it. But with this could be made into a proper. I know we've had Shang-Chi and everything, Dave, and the character, but it's not that far away from Shang-Chi. The stuff, you could have it as a Marvel or a DC property. This movie could be remade in its current, the current era, definitely into something bigger. I think there's definitely potential there, 100%, 100%.
You got the rings at the
exactly,
start there.
That's what I mean, yeah.
So what I think is going on here, so ultimately you have the oppressive government, and they're oppressing everyone, and then the main guy gets his family decimated and everything, and he goes off. There was a theory that was going on that basically there was a monk, like the Shaolin monks created kung fu.
Yeah.
And then, someone came out of there and started teaching it to other people. So that's what I think is going on here. I think that story, though, is Frank Duke's levels.
He's a master.
And the reality is, hand-to-hand combat has been around forever.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, in the West, we kind of, once we got access to guns, well, probably even before that, like bows and arrows and stuff, and then guns later, the hand-to-hand combat stuff just shrunk and shrunk. And so it was only really when these movies were all coming out in the 70s that everyone kind of got obsessed with, hand-to-hand combat in the form of martial arts again.
Yeah.
So I think the Shaolin monk thing is a bit of bollocks. But you can go with it as a story, can't you? And the thing I find slightly confusing, if that is the basic theory, that this is the guy who came out and taught martial arts to China, essentially, then why do other people all know martial arts as well beforehand? And one of his mates is saying like, oh, I can't believe it. I decided to study philosophy instead of kung fu or something. It's like, well, it doesn't make sense to me if that is the thing, so no one should know kung fu, really, because only the Shaolin monks do, or maybe a select few people, I guess. But I thought, I tell you what, Chris, there was a bit that threw me near the start where, sort of probably about half an hour in or something. So when they're going through this, before he gets to the Shaolin monks and whatever and goes into the chambers, before that you've got this underground movement and they're working with the teacher and whatever. The one guy who gets caught and then he tries to kill himself, so he gets the sword. And then you go through this weird, and I guess it's supposed to be funny. It's played off in a comedic way. And I guess you could say if we watched old Carry On movies or something, some of the bits that are supposed to be funny really aren't. I don't mean in an enlightened, fuck me, that's wrong kind of way, but just plain not funny anymore. And so, I thought that comedy was really misplaced in this, because there was nothing in the rest of the movie that had that kind of slapstick moment.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not fucking some aficionado on this. I'm literally just reading IMDb and Wiki, but it did say the second one was played for laughs. So maybe there was some stuff cut on the the floor there when they were making the movie and putting it together. That was more comedy, and they wanted to be serious. But yes, that does stand out, Dave, as well. I'm not going to say I'm going to watch the second one. I'm not, but he said it's a lot more comedy in the second one.
Right.
So maybe that's what it was. Maybe they just cut a lot of it out. Because you're right, that is I've never thought of it like, but you're right. There's nothing else in the movie. It's quite a serious movie after that, isn't it? It's all his journey becoming this master to avenge, what's happened, sort of thing. So yeah, good spot that.
Yeah, but I mean, after that, and like I say, after Lou's dad and that was killed, and his friends, and basically the net is circling around him. Actually, a couple of things I want to highlight, Chris. Did spot a couple of celebrities in this.
Go on.
So I don't know if you did.
No.
But Lord Cheng, who we see later on, we saw him earlier in the movie. I'm like, fuck me, that's the main guy from Snake in the Monkey's Shadow.
Oh, fuck off. Fucking
It is.
celebrity, Dave, come on.
Fucking celebrity. John Chung there. What a legend.
Yeah, we know
And,
John Chung. Yeah, we do, actually.
Of course, we did record with Spider Dan, probably chronologically. That'll probably come out before this, so we've done it in the past. He was in Bloodsport as well, which I didn't spot the first time around. Not only that, Chris, we only have one of the fucking snakes from Snake in the Monkey's Shadow as well. The legend that is Wilson Tong. So he's the sadistic bastard. So he's
Dave.
not the general, not the lord. He's like, one of these bastards. Like, and I was like, oh, brilliant.
Fuck off. Fucking celebrities. I was maybe to say, like, someone of the era, some absolute legend.
Fucking legends.
Now, John Chung, to be fair, Dave, you spotted, it was only when we watched Bloodsport the other week that you spotted that he was in Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Not in it for long, but he's there, but obviously he's in,
He's a bit shit, really, to be honest.
Yeah, he is pretty shit. He's pretty shit. He's fucking hammered, doesn't he?
So, you know what, Chris? We also didn't we do Dragon? We did Dragon.
We did Dragon, yes, we did, yeah.
Yeah. He's in that as well.
He is in that.
So we have now done 3 movies with John Chung in it.
It's not Lauren Avedon, Dave. Not them levels. This podcast is a Lauren Avedon loving.
This is one of those like Brian James where it's like, we've ended up doing loads of movies with Brian James.
We always do that though, don't we? I think after Christmas just gone, we did something like 3 Stallone movies in fucking succession by accident. You know what I mean? I picked Rocky 5, and then we had other one. It was like, and then obviously we've just done fucking Party at Kitty and Studs. You know what I mean? Legend. I'm still trying to get over them hairy bollocks, Dave. But there you go. It sounds even worse now I've said that. But there you go. But no, I think with the movie as well, as it goes on and he's doing the tests, some of the tests are pretty good. Like they feel computer game level. Like some computer games are taking inspiration. I think that's what I'm saying about the production in 1978. It's 44 years ago. Get my maths right, Dave, because that's my age.
Nice.
Nice. It's very interesting how they put these things together, and he's doing the different in the chambers, like the arm strength while he's at the wall, the buckets, things like that. It is good. I mean, you could even say stuff like maybe even Bloodsport, Dave, inspiration. That training montage, that, and Kickboxer as well. The whole thing, which is just because it's fresh in my head because we've obviously just recently watched it. But some of the things are not that far away from it. I mean, the fucking fish thing's one of the classics, the Van Damme fish.
Yeah.
It's not at that level, but yeah, it isn't far away from a computer game like trial thing to go and fight the big bads. You've got to get all these things and you've got to be at a level to get to, there. And I'd tell you what, Dave, just as a side note, I know to gaming, have you ever played on the PlayStation's Sleeping Dogs game?
No.
Oh, what a game. You would love it. It's really cheap now as well. So it's on Xbox and PlayStation, depending on what console you're on. It's basically a Hong Kong movie, but it's set in like an open world, and it's martial arts. It's
I am fucking in.
You've got to get it. It's about it might be about 10 years old, but it's still a brilliant game. Sleeping Dogs, it's called. Honestly, I'll send you a link in a bit for a copy of it. It's excellent. Honestly, you do a bit of car chasing stuff, but basically, whenever you go up against people, Dave, you're just fucking fighting karate. It's brilliant. Honestly, it's a really, really good game. It's so underrated.
But
Reviewed
at the
really
moment,
well.
it's £3.49.
There you
on the
go.
PlayStation Network.
There you go. It's worth
I
a
might
punt.
actually do that.
Promise
now.
you, because you love this era and stuff like that. It's honestly, it's a really, really good game. So underrated. So
Yeah, I'm going to get that.
There you go. That's you now for today, now, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. So, definitely a game, and they call him Lou, but also like they call him Sante,
yeah.
later on. And you got to appreciate the stones of him, because I mean, he pretty much stows away, doesn't he? And he ends up with the Shaolin monks, and they're not sure what to do with him. But they're talking about these. It's the 35 chambers,
35,
isn't it? Yeah. So 35, and then we get to know what the 36 is later. But he's like, yeah, just start me at the end. Just let me start with the 35th one. And that's when he gets force pushed, isn't it? You know, and it's like, oh, fucking hell, what's all that about then? And what I liked, I mean, Rocky had come out before this, but I don't think Rocky really nailed the montage until Rocky 3.
I agree.
And I wonder, how much influence did this movie have over creating those montages? Because it's almost kickboxer levels, like you say, with the longer montage. It's not like, No Retreat, No Surrender 3. Right. Yes. Sorry, not the third one. The first one. No Retreat, No Surrender. Right. Gets visited by the Bruce of Ghost Lee. The ghost of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
See, Alzheimer's kicking in. The ghost of Bruce Lee. And then he trains for a bit, with RJ for what looks like a week. And then he's ready to take on Van Damme. Whereas this, it's drawn out over years. And so I think that made it feel a lot more real to me.
Yeah.
And, so when he has the first challenge and everyone's just hopping across the water, like this is fucking really easy. And then he falls in. And then he falls in again. And you see that hard work and perseverance. And you can see while everyone else is sleeping, he's up there and he's practicing. And that's how he's able to get better quicker than most of the other people. And so I really appreciated that, because so much now is like quick montage. You're now ready to take on Mike Tyson. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But this one really, it made you feel like it was through all of his hard work, and it made it feel more realistic.
I think as well, Dave, and I'm gonna pluck a reference out for this training thing, Dave, because obviously they don't think he accelerates too fast, doesn't he, through the training and that. Like, he's like on a different level. But then there's doubts within like the masters and that. David, I got a bit of Anakin Skywalker vibes, like when what's he called? Qui-Gon, he's fighting for his cause, and they're saying he's too old now and all this sort of thing. These
too old.
Yeah, there is what's he say? It's like a conflict in the boy and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's how it's. Obviously, this guy is older. Louis older, but it fits really well. And obviously, he's on a mission to avenge what's happened, because obviously the baddie's in it as well. That guy's a knob in it, basically, the one who's sort of terrorizing everybody, the big bad sort of thing. And yeah, it's just a good film. It's just a really interesting one. And to be honest, Dave, I know I'm quite harsh on these sort of movies, because I just wasn't into. I was more into the Americanized type martial arts movies, but this has given me a real appreciation. As much as I love Bruce Lee movies and that, but it gave me a real appreciation for what's out there that I've completely missed. And I was looking at Gordon Liu's film reel, Dave, and there's he's done loads of movies. I know Tarantino brought him back into it, and a lot of Chinese production companies then, once he was in Kill Bill, he's ended up with a career on TV and soap operas and everything, and did a lot of movies after this, off the back of it, and he reignited his career. However, there's loads of movies, and they've got like sort of English titles to them, so you're thinking he must have been in all sorts of movies and he's probably been in movies that we've watched and not even realised. He's in there as a henchman or whatever. So so genuinely, this movie gave me a proper appreciation for this form of martial arts films.
Yeah. No, and I will say just one thing about one of the challenges or the chambers, if you like. The one that sticks out to me as, fuck me, that would hurt. I mean, well, I say the one. You've got one where he's holding up the buckets of water and he's got knives fucking sticking into him. That one looks like it would sting a bit. But it's the one where he's holding up that really long pole with the gong on the end of it.
Yes,
know?
Yeah.
It's like, you think about how strong your forearms would have to be, and they had a bit of purple on for the bruising and stuff. I thought, oh, fuck me, that'd be solid. But no, it is good how it all builds up, and then it all kind of culminates, doesn't it? Because he's kind of respectful. So yeah, he's kind of a little bit Anakin Skywalker. I definitely see that. But also, he's respectful of his seniors as well. Whereas Anakin was just a whiny little bastard, wasn't
he? He's a legend.
Why can't I do that? Yeah. So I did kind of like that. And then you've got he can't beat this one guy at the end, can he?
No.
And he ends up coming up with some fucking bamboo kind of nunchuck.
3 things. Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's fucking cool, that. So, and then that's how he can defeat him in the end. So he's basically fucking Bertie Big Bollocks after that.
Yeah, but also, Dave, it's the calmness in his character, innit? I like that.
Yeah.
I like the calmness where he's got that inner peace where it's like, in some respects, maybe this was some of the inspiration for like the Neo character as well, because Neo in the movies, when he's, Mr. Anderson and he's got Agent Smith chasing him and everything, and it's only when he gets to the point, obviously the movie's like he's got to die to, to become the one, but when he becomes the one and he becomes Neo and he's not Mr. Anderson, there is a calmness to his character, isn't there, where he's like, there is nothing you can do to me. He's gonna fucking hurt me. And that's what you get with this, I think, at the end. It's that sort of, there's nothing you can do now. I will defeat you. And he defeats him, but I don't know, there's like a calmness to his character as it goes on and it becomes more... I'm not saying that he was acting that way, Dave, but the writing of the character is, as he becomes better and gets more skilled, he realizes he can defeat more people and he's more calm in these situations. So I like that. That's like proper old school martial arts stuff. And obviously, it's an old school movie. That sort of, like when you watch the Bruce Lee stuff on it, Bruce Lee, the big boss, he vows he would never, I don't know, it's one of my favorites, but he vows he can't fight. He's not allowed to fight. He wears that chain and he's walking around and they're calling him out saying he's a bit of a coward, aren't they? Because obviously the family, the cousins are all getting sort of beat up in these fight scenes and all this. And then it just takes that one scene where the chain gets cut and I love it, Dave. I'm getting goosebumps now. I've got to watch it. I've not watched Big Boss for ages. I've got to watch it. And he just fucking levers everybody. Oh, I love that scene so much. But again, Bruce Lee carries him, even in like Enter the Dragon, it's that calmness of being, I'm fucking tougher than you. What are you going to do? I love that. I love that in these martial arts movies where they're so quiet and unassuming. And usually the gobby wankers in the movies, we usually, the bullies, they're going to get a kicking. But I love that. The big ones, and then they'll pick on the wrong person and it's just like, see you later, mate. You are out of here. So yeah, I do love that in martial arts movies.
Yeah, no, it is good. I do have to say, I think the best part of the movie is all the challenges, all of the chambers. And then when he goes out, and he's not sort of filled with the thirst for revenge that he is when he starts off on his kung fu journey, is he? He's more calm, like you say, when he comes out. But he does have that moment where, he's about to kill... Wilson Tong's character, the old snake
Yep.
from Snake in the Monkey's Shadow. He's gonna kill him, but someone else kind of does it for him. So, because I was wondering about that, I was like, well, he's supposed to be a monk, like, you know, and but no, he doesn't end up killing someone. But I thought it tailed off a little bit here, and I have to say, I think so the general that we saw at the beginning, fairly devilish, and he ends up killing the attempted assassin bloke. I felt like the fight with him sort of finished in a quite it was kind of unsatisfactory, wasn't it? And he gives him the old Glasgow fucking headbutt to finish him off, like, but it just finishes with a freeze frame.
Yeah, and then it goes off.
And then it it goes to like a training. He's teaching other people like the moves and stuff, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
And so that's why I think it's all around this idea that the Shaolin monks kind of came out and taught people kung fu. I think that is what that's supposed to be at the end there. But yeah, I kind of wanted to see him get his comeuppance a little bit more. And it was just anticlimax. You can't describe it any better than that.
No, you know what, Dave? I forgot about that. I'll be honest with you. I watched it a few days ago. Yeah, it just stops dead, doesn't it, in its tracks? And you're like, have they forgot to fucking edit this correctly? What's going? Yeah, God, what a good spot. But no, I don't think it ruins the film as much. It's just you want that payoff, don't you? He's gone through all this turmoil and this tension and all the learning he's had to do and all the ups and downs of being right and wrong and everything. So you're right, actually. That is a slight underwhelming end to the movie, but he is the man then, isn't he? I don't know how the second one goes, but yeah, no, good spot, I think.
Yeah. So, Chris, anything else?
No, I think we're done.
Cool. Let's get into our final review.
Let's go. Dave, great pick. Thank you, Susan, for picking this one. Open my eyes, I'll be honest with you. Never seen it, but I 100% seen clips of this. Now, I know in Kill Bill, to say this before, Dave, isn't there throwback shots of some old martial arts movies? I haven't watched it for years, Kill Bill, the first one.
You know what? I think the first one is early 2000s, so technically it would fit in our realm here.
Yeah, it would fit. I can't remember, but there's so many references in them. I mean, obviously, Uma Thurman's wearing the Bruce Lee yellow outfit.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing, like the master that kind of trains her and stuff, it's all very kung fu movie, homages.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, I've genuinely have seen clips of this movie. I was surprised. I thought I'd hate it, Dave. I thought I'd be coming in and taking the piss, and they haven't. I really enjoyed it. The choreography of the fights are brilliant. That bit at the end does sting. Now you said that, it did when I watched it, so I agree with that. But I think it's a great movie. I'm going to put it in the middle, Dave. I think it's a high hill valley. It's a great movie, and I think it's also the foundation of a lot of westernized martial arts movies came off the back of something like this. So yeah, good pick, Dave. So what about yourself?
Yeah, I agree. Really, really good pick. I like I say, I feel like I've watched some of this, but never sat down, and I certainly don't remember watching the whole movie. And glad I have, and I'll definitely watch it again at some point in the future. But I think I'm going to rate it a bit higher. I'm going to put it in a Pleasantville. I think this is really, really good stuff. And you can tell that, why this got ranked as one of the greatest kung fu movies ever. I think, and like you say, you can see how it's really influential. I think the way it looks is fantastic. Like I say, the digital remastering, it just makes the colours pop off the page, but you can see as well just the high production quality anyway, the costumes and everything. You can't just, if it looks shit to start off with, you can't polish a turd, as they say. So, all the costumes and everything look great, and the choreography was great. I like the fact that they, the montage was kind of believable. It spanned years and not a week. I thought that was all great. So yeah, really, really pleased. Great pick. And Pleasantville from me.
Yeah, good choice. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, Dave, next week's pick is from the legend that is Mr. Blake Biles, Dave. And one of our patrons, one of our great friends, and he has picked me. I've never seen this. So, we're going back, Dave, to the early 2000s. And this one is an animated movie called Beowulf. So, shall we get into the trailer?
We can do, but I don't think it's the animated movie that you're thinking.
Okay, so it's
So
not the
this is
the 2007 one, and Dave.
no, because that wouldn't be in our realm. This,
gonna-
Chris, stars Christopher Lambert and is from 1999. So now let's get into the trailer.
Fuck off! I should have researched that, shouldn't I? I've got the trailer up for the wrong film.
So
now.
hold on. Let me
Fuck
show the trailer.
In the future lies a fortress at
Oh,
the edge of darkness. The enemy is at the
gonna
gate,
be shit.
but the real terror is within. A man more than mortal, born half of heaven and half of hell, is their only
He's
salvation.
the voiceover guy.
Man would come here to face this thing. I'm not.
This is like me when I try and do the voiceover guy.
He's father. Good looking.
Sense it. You can feel it.
Christopher Lambert is
Oh my
should
god.
be dead.
Lambert? Not Lambert. Lambert.
Yeah,
Many times.
French, isn't he?
Beowulf.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be magnificent, Dave. This is going to be amazing. What a pick from Blake.
Well, I don't think it's by
Oh,
accident. I think Blake does take his time and make sure he if he's going to go for something good, he'll generally, have a short list. But I think this is more at the other end of the scale. This is a bit of a stitch up, this one.
Fucking brilliant. Oh, no,
And
I'm
your
looking forward
favourite, Christopher Lambert.
Yeah, no, Lambert, Dave.
as they say in the
Lambert.
trailer.
Mrs. Bouquet. No, Mrs. Bucket. No, Mrs. Bouquet. And while we were doing the podcast, Dave, you were absolutely, when we talk about sleeping dogs, £3.74 reduced from £25. Yeah, I took a punt on it, Dave. I paid for it and downloaded it as we were doing the podcast. So
I've got the wrong credit card set up on my PlayStation. I was trying to buy it as well.
yeah, you got mine set up. I've been charged twice. I know. £3.74, and it's the definitive edition as well.
Yeah.
I've got the new Star Wars to finish, the Jedi Survivor, but once I finish that, I'm going to get onto this again. I love this game. It's an open world game, Dave, so you've got to travel from bits and that, but the set pieces and the fighting is excellent, honestly. Such a good game.
Nice.
So anyway, Dave, big thank you to everyone. Again, thank you, Susan, as well, for that great pick. If you want to email us, the thevhsstrikesback@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @thvhsstrikesback. If you do want to support us, get over to patreon.com/thevhsstrikesback. So today's roll call of honour is to Helen, Dylan, Stephen, Trent, Dan, Justin, Susan, Timothy, Matt, Heath, Kent, Lucky Lulu Green, Herb, Jax, Math, Blake, John Hammond, and Mr. Tony Farina. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Great stuff. And obviously, Dave, this has been an interesting movie, an old style one, and there is fucking hardly any quotes. So what are you going to take us out with today, Dave?
Well, you say that, Chris, but on this rare occasion, there is one familiar phrase that stood out to me that made me feel very nostalgic. And that is, these ridiculous overdubbed voices. But of course, it was familiar from Police Academy. And so I'll simply say, you want to fight? Fight me! I'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I'll be back.
That's not.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Wax on, wax off.
Get to the chopper!
One ring to go.
All right. Ding, ding.
Bust you up. Go for it.
Well, here we go. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Come on, ain't so bad. Ain't nothing. Come on. crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Yeah, maybe you're stupid. You crazy or something. I ain't breathing heavy. He's a fool. He's stupid. I see you at 6.